fellow crafters, it's Cindy at Upcycled Design Lab. For this week's project, I'm going to be using some empty pie tins that I have left over from Thanksgiving to make some origami gift box Christmas tree ornaments. To make one ornament, you need 2 pie tins, a square template, some scissors, and a pen. The first step is to cut out the bottom of the pie tin, and then to use the template and the pen to mark the square and cut the brown bottom into a square shape. Because we're folding tin and not paper, you probably want a couple of extra tools. So I have some needle nose pliers, and then I just have a hard plastic little spatula to help with some of the folds. Another thing about working with the tin with the foil is that you don't want it to crease in the wrong place. So you want to start, before you do the folds, you want to start a curve. So I'm gently rolling the foil around my fingers to help shape it, and then I'm pressing in the crease with my fingers and making it nice and crisp with my plastic spatula. And here I'm going to repeat the process by folding my big triangle over into a smaller triangle. What I'm doing here is making a basic square base origami fold. You can see that working with the tin takes a little more patience and coaxing. You can't fold it nearly as quickly as the paper, but you basically want to keep everything aligned just as you would with a paper piece, and you might want to actually practice this with paper first. Once I have the basic square folded, I'm going ahead and folding 4 folds to make the shape into more of a kite shape. Here you just need to make sure that the top of the kite shape is the folded end and the bottom of the kite is the open end. For the last fold, I'm starting it with my fingers and just bending the top part of the kite down to fold it into a triangle, and then I'm tightening it up with the pliers just to make a crisper fold. The next step is to gently unfold the piece so that you end up back with your square. And then, because we're working with tin and we need to reverse some of the folds, I'm using my spatula to flatten out all of the folds. You can see the square shape in the tin here, and that's basically going to be the bottom of the box. So I want to go ahead and just fold up the sides in that square shape, and I'm just going to use my fingers here and not the spatula. Once I have my square bottom folded, I'm going to take one of the corners and roll it carefully so that the tip is pointing straight and just touches the edge of the square. And then I'm going to go ahead and crease that, and then I'm going to do this exact same thing on the opposite side. And then I'm going to repeat that fold for the remaining 2 sides. If you're having trouble curling the paper and getting it to fold in the right place, you can also use a pen or a pencil to roll the foil over, which will help you get a better fold and correct any folds that end up in the wrong place. So here I'm going to go ahead and fold up 2 sides of the box on opposite sides from each other, and then I want to open up my fold on the other 2 sides. And the pliers are going to come in kind of handy here because you want to follow the creases that you've made, but in a lot of cases you're going to be creasing them the opposite direction. And rather than talk through and try to explain what I'm doing, I'm just going to try to let you watch the folds that I'm making with the pliers. So here I'm just using the pliers to tighten up all of my folds and make the corners nice and crisp, and that completes the bottom of the box. To make the top of the box, I'm using the same size square as I did for the bottom, and I'm just going to let you watch the folds and I'll interject here and there. Alright, hopefully you're following along pretty well. I'm speeding up through this part because basically what I'm doing is I'm just unfolding everything again as carefully as I can, and then I'm going to flatten out the folds again so that I can fold them in opposite directions. So here what I'm doing is I'm making sure that the folds that go from corner to corner are all folded the same direction. Here you can see that the folds have made the piece point upward, but what I'm doing here is I'm pushing the center back down. This part gets a little bit tricky, but basically I'm taking my folds that I just made from corner to corner, and I'm going to fold them along one of the lines of the kite shape to the center of the piece of paper where there's also a fold. So I'm folding on folds that already exist, but I may be pushing them the opposite direction from what they were originally folded. And once I have everything lined up, I'm going to go ahead and crease that, and then I'm going to use the pliers to do a couple of folds to finish this section of the top. So here are my first two fold lines. So I'm going to use the pliers through just one layer of the foil to make the creases on both sides. And then there's a third line that you can see on this piece. You want to only be through one layer of the tin, and you're going to crease back toward the inside of the cone shape. And then I'm going to just gently pull down on this piece, and you can see how it's kind of opening up. And I'm going to crease that inside and just pinch it tight with the pliers. And then I'm going to repeat all of those folds 3 more times for each of the sides of the top of the box. So here I'm just using the pliers to finish up the shaping the box and make some nice crisp folds. Here I'm using some jewelry pliers to add a little bit of dimpling to the box top, just to add a little design. Basically you just need something that isn't too sharp and pointed, that you can press into the foil and make a little indentation. To finish the box, I've poked a hole in the top and the bottom, and I'm just using a few little beads and kabobbles and a piece of wire to hook the two pieces together and to add a little decoration. And the last step is just to fill your gift box. Alright, that was a long video. Thanks so much for watching. Please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel and also checking out my blog at www.upcycleddesignlab.com.